This one coming from Chris Kokkalis via Instagram. How has snowboarding influence popularity dropped since the 90s, 2000s? We've kind of hit on this already kind of in this podcast, but again, if you're just tuning into this section specifically, and we've talked about this just in the past too, but basically, the 90s, 2000s was one of the biggest kind of surges as far as ridership was concerned. But all of those people, they were, 18 to 25 at that point.
They got old.
And either they just got old and didn't, just stop snowboarding, or they got old, they had a kid.
Career, college, time.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, is they didn't have time.
Yep.
So they're left. I think that...
And we didn't have the... Like, that was where the roots were getting put down, was the 90s and early 2000s. So, since we didn't have the roots much, much earlier, like skiing does, like, we hadn't stabilized as far as our...
No, we're starting to finally see our,
Mm-hmm.
like, the boomer generation, like skiing has, that was, like, all about it. We're starting to see that in snowboarding. And I think we'll see... It's an ebb and flow. It's peaks and valleys. And that's where we're at. Every time someone brings that up, they're like, well, we're not as popular. It's like, it's okay. It's like, these things happen. People come back to snowboarding. Sometimes they don't. It's something that they did.
And we even see it at the shop, where our peak sales was probably 6 years ago, and it was slowly declining since then, and now we've gone back up, and we're starting to rise again. So, like, we're starting to see that rise of people. And the biggest thing that I've noticed as far as all those sales are concerned is it's people coming in saying, I got to replace my board. It's 8 years old. Or I've had the same boots for 10 years. It's all these people that barely rode over the last 6, 7 years, so they didn't see any reason to replace the gear that they had, but now they're riding again a lot. And I sell a lot of stuff to people like that, and a lot of stuff to people that are mid-20s to late 30s. So that kind of generation is where we're at now. Instead of it being, in the 90s, early 2000s, it was a bunch of kids that were 16 to 28 is kind of more what we saw, I feel like. So, yeah, that's I think a lot of it is just the popularity, all the people that were participating in the 90s and 2000s. We got old.
So
and now we're getting old enough that we can get back to it.
Expendable income.
Yep.
That's the big one. So I think that kind of nails that.
Pretty much nails that one down, I feel like.